Trump shooting is nothing compared to these horrific crimes. Crimes more horrifying than Trump shooting could ever be. We're diving deep into the darkest corners of human history with stories so chilling, so disturbing that you'll be left speechless. From cold-blooded killers to baffling mysteries, these crimes will stay with you long after the lights go out. If you thought you knew the meaning of horrific, get ready for a terrifying reality check. On the 13th of July, 2024, an assassination attempt was made on former President Donald Trump during a political event in Butler, Pennsylvania. The suspect, a 20-year-old named Thomas Matthew Crooks, reportedly fired shots at Trump from a rooftop about 200 meters away. This violent act resulted in the death of one individual and left two others with serious injuries. During the incident, Trump was hit by a bullet that lightly wounded his right ear. He later shared his experience on his social media platform, Truth Social, stating, "I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening." The former president was promptly escorted off the stage by his Secret Service detail and taken to a nearby hospital for treatment. He was discharged the same evening. In a one-on-one conversation, Trump reflected on the near-death experience, remarking, "I'm supposed to be dead." The medical professional who attended to him referred to the outcome as miraculous, highlighting the gravity of the situation. Thomas Matthew Crooks, a 20-year-old registered Republican residing in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, was killed by a Secret Service sniper in the midst of the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Authorities are currently investigating the reasons behind his actions and are examining the possibility of any accomplices in the act. Forget Trump assassination attempt, these crimes will leave you speechless. What you thought was shocking pales in comparison to the chilling depths of human depravity we're about to explore. If you're ready to delve into the darkest corners of criminal history, steel your nerves and watch on, if you dare. The death of Sylvia Likens. In 1965, 16-year-old Sylvia Likens and her sister Jenny were placed under the guardianship of Gertrude Baniszewski in Indianapolis, Indiana. As financial support for their care diminished, Baniszewski's frustration manifested in physical abuse, predominantly directed at Sylvia. The abuse intensified, involving Baniszewski's children and local youths who participated in the brutal treatment of Sylvia. She suffered numerous forms of torment, including sexual assault, psychological abuse, physical beatings with various objects, starvation, burning, and being coerced into degrading acts. An autopsy on Sylvia revealed extensive injuries, with over 150 distinct wounds such as burns, tissue damage, and a severely swollen vaginal area. William C. Urbecker, defense attorney for Baniszewski, characterized the abuse as degradation that you wouldn't commit on a dog. Sylvia tragically passed away on October 26, 1965, due to a subdural hematoma, head trauma, circulatory shock, and extreme malnourishment. Gertrude Baniszewski was found guilty of first-degree murder and was given a life sentence in prison. Her daughter Paula was convicted of second-degree murder. The other children involved in the abuse received convictions for manslaughter and served less than 2 years in prison before being released on parole. The crimes of Jerry Brudos. Jerome Jerry Brudos, infamously referred to as the Lust Killer and the Shoe Fetish Slayer, was a serial killer who took the lives of 4 young women in Oregon during the period of 1968 to 1969. Brudos harbored a deeply unsettling fascination with shoes, which progressed into extreme acts of violence against women. He abducted his victims, strangled them, and then retained their shoes as mementos of his crimes. In one particularly grisly instance, Brudos severed the foot of a victim to place a high-heeled shoe on it, as he desired to dress and pose them however he liked, whenever he liked, essentially seeking a life-size doll. The discovery of the bodies of 2 of Brudos's victims prompted his arrest. Upon interrogation, Brudos admitted to the murders, recounting that he hit her in the head and then strangled her to death. He was subsequently given 3 consecutive life sentences for the murders of Linda Dawn Sally, Karen Elena Sprinker, and Jan Susan Whitney. Brudos spent the rest of his life in prison, where he died from liver cancer in 2006. His lengthy incarceration made him the longest-serving prisoner in the Oregon Department of Corrections history. A crime that shocked Oregon. Comment yes if you think justice was served, or no if you think Brudos' sentence was too lenient. Let's discuss. Dennis Rader, the BTK killer. Dennis Rader, infamously dubbed the BTK killer, led a double existence as a family man and community leader in Wichita, Kansas, while simultaneously carrying out a series of gruesome murders from 1974 to 1991. Rader's modus operandi involved stalking his victims before subjecting them to binding, torture, and ultimately, strangulation. After a 13-year break from his murderous activities, Rader re-emerged in 2004, sending letters to the police and media that graphically detailed his crimes. He signed these letters with the acronym BTK, which stood for Bind, Torture, Kill. In 2005, Rader made a critical error by sending a floppy disk to a local television station. The police were able to trace the disk back to his church, where he held the position of president of the congregation. Upon his arrest, Rader confessed to the murders and pleaded guilty, expressing surprise that the police had been able to trace the disk. He was subsequently sentenced to 10 consecutive life terms in prison for his horrific crimes. The case of Dennis Rader has been extensively covered in various forms of media, including books, films, television shows, and songs, cementing his notoriety as one of America's most infamous serial killers. John Haigh, the acid bath murderer. John Haigh, referred to as the acid bath murderer, was an English serial killer found guilty of 6 murders, though he alleged to have killed 9 individuals. Initially a con artist, Haigh progressed to murder, targeting affluent people for financial gain. He would deceive his victims into visiting his workshop, where he would kill them by shooting or bludgeoning, and then eliminate their bodies using concentrated sulfuric acid to erase evidence. A source describes Haigh's method. Haigh had carefully selected his 6 victims, all friends of varying degrees, lured them to a swift execution, and then systematically disposed of their bodies in large oil drums of sulfuric acid at a workshop, meticulously equipped for that shocking purpose. Haigh's criminal activities were uncovered when the remains of one of his victims, Olive Duran Deacon, were discovered at his workshop. Following a trial, he was convicted and executed in 1949. The Cambridge University report on Haigh's case notes that his letters displayed delusions of grandeur and a disconnection from the emotional impact of what he had done, pointing towards a potential psychopathic personality. The disappearance of the Sodder children. The vanishing of the Sodder siblings on Christmas Eve 1945 in Fayetteville, West Virginia, is still among the most enigmatic, unresolved cases in U.S. history. During that ill-fated night, a fire engulfed the Sodder family's home, resulting in the supposed deaths of 5 of the 10 children. Morris, 14, Martha, 12, Louis, 10, Jenny, 8, and Betty, 5. However, no remains of the children were ever discovered, leading their parents, George and Jenny Sodder, to reject the notion that their children had died in the fire. The Sodders were suspicious of malicious intent, pointing out several peculiarities related to the fire. George challenged the fire department's conclusion that the fire had been caused by an electrical issue, given that the house's wiring had been recently updated. The family also recalled an unknown vehicle parked close to their residence earlier that night. Jenny Sodder later received an enigmatic photograph in the mail, seemingly depicting their son Louis as an adult many years later. As Jenny expressed, "Time is running out for us, but we only want to know. If they did die in the fire, we want to be convinced. Otherwise, we want to know what happened to them." Despite thorough investigations, the case has persisted in its unsolved status, leaving the Sodder family and the wider public with an abundance of questions and few definitive answers. The Cleveland Torso Murders. The Cleveland Torso Murders, alternatively known as the work of the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run, were a sequence of grisly homicides that took place in Cleveland, Ohio, from 1935 to 1938. An unidentified serial killer was responsible for the deaths and dismemberment of at least 12 individuals, with numerous victims discovered in various parts of the city in a state of disassembly. A significant investigation was conducted under the direction of the renowned law enforcement figure, Elliot Ness, yet the case has persisted in its unsolved status. The victims were frequently transients or those existing on the margins of society, which complicated the process of identification. The killer's method of operation involved beheading and dismembering the victims, with some remains exhibiting indications of chemical processing. The murders were distinguished by their extreme violence and the absence of any substantial leads or evidence, resulting in the case remaining cold to this day. A chilling tale of murder and mystery. Comment RIP to honor the memories of the victims and share your thoughts on the shocking crimes that shook Cleveland. The Hunts of Robert Hansen. Robert Hansen, dubbed the Butcher Baker, appeared to be a regular family man with a sinister secret. He was a serial killer who preyed on at least 17 women in Alaska over a period of 10 years. Hansen specifically targeted sex workers and exotic dancers, abducting them and flying them to isolated areas of the Alaskan wilderness in his private aircraft. Upon arrival, he would release them and then pursue them as if they were prey, equipped with a hunting knife and a rifle. In the wilderness, his favored spot was near the Nick River. Robert Hansen would free the women. For a brief moment, they would believe they had a chance to flee. Then, as they fled for their lives, he would pursue them, taking his time, hunting them like wild animals, as one report described. Hansen's horrific deeds went unnoticed for many years until 1983, when one of his victims, the 17-year-old Cindy Paulson, miraculously escaped. Paulson informed the police that Hansen had kidnapped, restrained, and sexually assaulted her before taking her to his plane, where he threatened to murder her if she attempted to escape. Based on Paulson's account, the police were able to locate and apprehend Hansen. In 1984, Hansen confessed to 4 murders and multiple other felonies. He later confessed to the murders of a total of 17 women and guided investigators to their burial sites. Hansen was sentenced to 461 years in prison without the possibility of parole, where he remained until his passing in 2014 at the age of 75. The murder of John Price. On the 29th of February 2000, Katherine Knight committed a heinous crime by murdering her partner, John Price, in their Aberdeen, New South Wales residence. Employing her skills as a proficient meatworker, Knight inflicted at least 37 stab wounds on Price's body. Following his death, she dismembered and disrespected Price's corpse, expertly skinning it to create a hide that encompassed his head, face, and limbs. As described by Justice Barry O'Keefe, the prisoner hung his pelt on a meat hook on the doorframe of the lounge room, where it stayed until it was removed by the police. Knight proceeded to sever Price's head and cooked portions of his body, intending to serve the meat to Price's children, with plates labeled with their names. The police intervened before the children returned from school, discovering Price's head simmering on the stove. As a result of her actions, Knight became the first woman in Australia to receive a life sentence without the possibility of parole, with her case file marked never to be released. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum in Boston became the epicenter of one of history's most infamous art thefts on the early morning of March 18, 1990. 2 thieves, impersonating police officers, gained entry to the museum under the pretense of attending to a disturbance. Upon entering, they overpowered the 2 security guards on duty, restrained them with duct tape, and then stole 13 invaluable pieces of art, including works by Rembrandt, Vermeer, and Manet. The thieves spent 81 minutes with careful attention to detail in removing the paintings from their walls and frames, showcasing a degree of planning and exactitude that has perplexed investigators for more than 30 years. The robbery left an evident void in the museum's collection, with the stolen art valued at over $500 million. Despite an exhaustive investigation by the FBI and local law enforcement, the case has remained unsolved. Speculations about the thieves' identities and the art's location are numerous, with some pointing to the possible involvement of the Boston Mafia. As Anthony Amore, the museum's security director, stated, the thieves took 13 pieces, including the concert by Vermeer and 2 Rembrandts, one of them his only known seascape, Storm on the Sea of Galilee. The art was not insured due to the terms of the bequest that established the museum, and empty frames now hang where the art once was. Nothing has been recovered despite the museum's $10 million reward. The Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist continues to intrigue the public, reflecting the boldness and enigma of this enduring unsolved crime. The disappearance of Dorothy Jane Scott. Dorothy Jane Scott, a 32-year-old single mother residing in Stanton, California, vanished under terrifying conditions on May 28, 1980. Prior to her kidnapping, Scott had been subjected to a series of odd and menacing phone calls from an unknown male. The caller's behavior fluctuated between declaring his affection for her and threatening her life, once ominously stating he would cut her up into bits so no one will ever find her. Concerned for her security, Scott had contemplated buying a firearm and had recently begun attending karate classes. On the night she vanished, Scott drove 2 colleagues to the hospital after one was bitten by a spider. While they were in the ER, Scott went to retrieve her car to drive them home. However, as she pulled up to the entrance, the vehicle suddenly sped away and her colleagues couldn't see the driver due to the intense headlights. Scott was never seen again. The next day, her abandoned and burned-out car was found in an alley about 10 miles away. 4 years later, in August 1984, a construction worker made a grisly discovery: a partially burned human skeleton and dog remains, about 30 feet from the road. While this discovery brought some closure to Scott's family, her attacker was never caught. In this episode, we've explored chilling crimes that have left an indelible mark on history. From the brutal tactics of serial killers to the mysterious circumstances of unsolved cases, these stories serve as stark reminders of humanity's darker side. But what do you think? Does this content leave you with more questions than answers? Let us know by commenting OK if you find this video informative. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more from Iconic Inside. Your engagement helps us dive deeper into the stories that need to be told. 15 movie scenes actors later regret. The entertainment industry has produced some timeless classics such as Titanic and Star Wars, featuring outstanding performances from celebrities. Surprisingly, many of these actors actually regret certain roles they have taken on in the past. Let's delve into 15 scenes that these actors wish they had never filmed. Let's get started. Number 15. Kate Winslet in Titanic. The movie Titanic, featuring the timeless romance between Rose and Jack, has captured the hearts of many despite its historical success. However, not everyone shares the same sentiment, particularly Kate Winslet. Following the film's release and rise to fame, Winslet realized she had made a significant misstep. The scene where Rose asks Jack to paint her like a French girl garnered attention for its revealing nature. Although Winslet initially agreed to the scene, she later regretted it due to encounters with fans bringing printouts for her to sign. These interactions tainted Winslet's view of the movie, leading her to avoid similar scenes in the future. In a 2011 interview, she expressed her discomfort with such scenes, citing the response from Titanic fans as the reason. This experience highlights the challenges actors face in navigating public perception and personal boundaries. Number 14. Jim Carrey in Kick-Ass 2. Remember when Kick-Ass hit theaters and earned a staggering $96.2 million at the box office? Its success led to the release of Kick-Ass 2 in 2013, featuring Jim Carrey as Colonel Stars and Stripes, a superhero who meets a gruesome end at the hands of supervillains. Initially fine with the film's violent content, Carrey had a change of heart after the tragic Sandy Hook Elementary School incident, which occurred just months before the movie's release. Studies have suggested that on-screen violence can influence real-life aggression, a view Carrey seemed to share. Following the event, he publicly condemned the film's level of violence and expressed regret for his involvement, deeming it harmful to society. He addressed this on Twitter, remarking, "I did kick ass a month before Sandy Hook, and now in all good conscience I cannot support that level of violence. My apologies to others involved with the film. I'm not ashamed of it, but recent events have caused a change in my heart." Regardless of the rationale, Carrey's decision reflects a commendable integrity, further endearing him to fans. Number 13. Jennifer Lawrence in Passengers. Jennifer Lawrence, a celebrated actress with an Academy Award under her belt, is known for her talent and influence in Hollywood. Despite her success, she too has experienced moments of regret. In 2016, the release of the highly anticipated film Passengers, starring Lawrence and Chris Pratt, garnered significant attention. The movie depicted two characters stranded in space, relying solely on each other for companionship. As the characters Jim and Aurora navigate their eternal predicament, their deepening bond leads to intimate and passionate moments on screen. Lawrence, while accustomed to on-screen kissing scenes, found this particular portrayal challenging, especially as it was her first time kissing a married co-star. Following the film's release, Pratt and his then-wife, Anna Faris, announced their separation, sparking rumors that Lawrence was somehow involved. Despite denying any connection to the couple's split and asserting that the film had wrapped prior to the divorce, speculation lingered among fans. The incident shed light on the complexities of Hollywood relationships and the blurred lines between on-screen chemistry and real-life dynamics. Rest assured, America's sweetheart Jennifer Lawrence may approach such scenes with caution in the future. Number 12. George Clooney in Batman and Robin. While George Clooney is renowned for his exceptional performances and captivating roles, even he has faced moments of regret in his career. Surprisingly, Clooney has openly expressed disdain for his role in the 1997 Warner Brothers film Batman and Robin. Unlike its predecessors and successors, the movie was met with harsh criticism from fans and critics alike, with many considering it a low point in the Batman franchise. Clooney not only views the film as a disappointment in his own acting portfolio, but also criticizes its flawed plot and execution. He has gone as far as labeling Batman and Robin as a financial blunder and believes it inflicted irreparable damage on the Batman franchise. In a heartfelt gesture, Clooney expressed a desire to personally apologize to the character's creator for what he perceives as a tarnishing of the iconic legacy. While opinions on the movie's quality may differ, Clooney's candid self-assessment underscores the impact of this particular role on his career. Hopefully, Clooney has since navigated past this setback and found success in new endeavors. Because YouTube will prioritize interactive videos, please comment OK if you find this video interesting. Thank you. Number 11. Burt Reynolds in Deliverance. Burt Reynolds, known for his action-packed performances in memorable films, often undertakes his stunts to enhance the authenticity of his roles. However, there is one iconic stunt from the movie Deliverance that he deeply regrets to this day. In this particular scene, Reynolds paddles a canoe over a waterfall, a daring feat that resulted in a significant injury. Reflecting on the experience in a 2015 interview regarding his memoir, But Enough About Me, Reynolds admitted that his decision to perform the stunt himself was driven by a desire to embody a tough persona on screen. Unfortunately, this choice led to a severe injury as he broke his tailbone during the dangerous maneuver. Reynolds shared that he wished he had opted for a stunt double or a dummy for the scene, acknowledging that it would have spared him considerable pain and the need to halt his projects for months. The incident serves as a poignant reminder of the physical risks actors undertake in pursuit of authenticity, highlighting the sacrifices and challenges inherent in the filmmaking process. Despite the ordeal, Reynolds' dedication to his craft and commitment to his roles remain evident, even in the face of such unfortunate outcomes. Number 10. Edward Norton in The Incredible Hulk. Edward Norton, who initially portrayed the Hulk in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, departed from the franchise due to creative disparities with the filmmakers. Norton envisioned a darker and more serious approach for The Incredible Hulk, inspired by Christopher Nolan's gritty and somber Dark Knight trilogy. He expressed a deep appreciation for the mythic elements of the Hulk comics and believed they warranted a profound exploration akin to Nolan's treatment of Batman. Norton outlined a vision for the character spanning 2 films, focusing on the Hulk's origin story and evolving into a complex, introspective figure. However, the studio's vision diverged from Norton's, leading to discord regarding the direction of the Hulk storyline. Ultimately, Norton's ideal portrayal did not align with the MCU's lighter and more vibrant tone, prompting his departure from the role. While Norton may harbor some regret over his Hulk portrayal, the incongruence between his vision and the MCU's established aesthetic suggests that parting ways was ultimately beneficial for both parties. Norton's desire for a darker, more introspective Hulk may not have aligned with the MCU's overarching tone and direction, highlighting the importance of artistic collaboration and cohesion in the filmmaking process. Number 9. Terence Stamp in The Phantom Menace. Terence Stamp took on the role of Chancellor Valorum in the 1999 Star Wars film The Phantom Menace, where he found himself acting alongside burgeoning star Natalie Portman, who portrayed Queen Amidala. Stamp's decision to join the film was reportedly driven by his desire to work with Portman, showcasing his admiration for her talent. However, during a crucial Senate hearing scene, Stamp was disheartened to find Portman absent from the set. Expecting to share the moment with Portman, Stamp found himself delivering his lines to a piece of paper on the wall, instead of engaging with the actress directly. Disappointed by the lackluster experience and feeling disconnected from the scene, Stamp expressed his dissatisfaction with the interaction, describing it as mundane. This sentiment parallels the underwhelming reception of The Phantom Menace among fans and critics alike, with many regarding it as a departure from the captivating essence of the Star Wars franchise. Stamp's experience serves as a microcosm of the broader sentiment surrounding the film, highlighting how even seasoned actors can find themselves disillusioned by underwhelming performances and missed opportunities for meaningful on-screen connections. Number 8. Taylor Lautner in Twilight. The Twilight series made a profound impact on popular culture, with the first movie captivating audiences worldwide. However, as time has passed and the series concluded, the lead actors have expressed varying levels of discontent with their involvement in the films. Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson, who portrayed the central characters and were involved in a romantic relationship during filming, likely experienced discomfort due to their subsequent breakup, making it challenging to revisit their on-screen chemistry. In contrast, Taylor Lautner, known for his role as the werewolf Jacob Black, faced a unique challenge. Lautner's character was frequently depicted shirtless in the movies, a decision that garnered attention and admiration from fans, but also invited criticism and mockery. The actor received backlash and became the subject of numerous memes, leading to a sense of unease and vulnerability. This experience soured Lautner's perspective on his on-screen portrayal, as he felt reduced to a physical attribute rather than being recognized for his acting talent. While the Twilight series undoubtedly propelled Lautner's career, the focus on his physical appearance rather than his performance left a lasting impact. Lautner's reluctance to appear shirtless in future roles reflects his desire to be acknowledged for his versatility as an actor, beyond superficial qualities. Number 7. Elliot Page in Juno. Elliot Page, who publicly came out as transgender in December 2020, formally identified as Ellen Page during the filming of the movie Juno. In this heartwarming yet profound film, there is a scene that Page now regrets having filmed. During a moment in the movie where Juno and Jason Bateman's character discuss potential baby names, Bateman suggests the name Madison. In response, Juno says, "Isn't that a little gay?" This line, which touches on stereotypes, garnered criticism after the film's release. In a subsequent interview, Elliot Page expressed regret over filming that particular scene, acknowledging its homophobic undertones. Given his personal journey and identification as a trans man, the scene now holds deeper significance and reflects a hurtful stereotype that Page does not align with. Regrets over past remarks are common, but for Page, the lasting impact of this scene showcases the importance of mindful dialogue and the need for sensitivity and awareness in media portrayals. As Elliot Page continues to navigate his identity and advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, the scene serves as a poignant reminder of the impact of harmful language and the ongoing journey toward greater inclusivity and understanding. Because YouTube will prioritize interactive videos, please comment OK if you find this video interesting. Thank you. Number 6. Burt Reynolds and Boogie Nights. The 1997 film Boogie Nights, which achieved a box office gross of nearly $24.6 million, elicited mixed reactions from audiences. Burt Reynolds, one of the film's stars, notably despised his involvement in the movie to the extent that he openly criticized it. Reynolds took his disdain for Boogie Nights to the next level by boycotting press events and distancing himself from marketing efforts after its release. Reynolds' disdain for the film runs so deep that he reportedly fired his agent for suggesting the role to him. He expressed dissatisfaction with the movie's pacing and overall coherence, deeming it a disappointing experience. His co-stars, including Mark Wahlberg, have also hinted at Reynolds' lackluster attitude on set, describing him as unengaging and focused solely on completing his work. Despite the passage of time, Reynolds maintains a strong aversion to anything related to Boogie Nights, showcasing his ongoing resentment towards the project. The lingering animosity surrounding the film continues to be a point of interest for fans and industry observers, prompting curiosity about the behind-the-scenes dynamics that contributed to Reynolds' negative perception of the film. Number 5. Emilia Clarke in Game of Thrones. Emilia Clarke, renowned for her portrayal of Daenerys Targaryen, one of Hollywood's powerful female characters, faced challenges due to the nudity required in some of her scenes. Despite being aware of the demands of the role when she signed up to play Daenerys, the actual experience of shooting such scenes can be daunting, particularly when they involve nudity being showcased to the world, including one's parents. In a specific episode of Game of Thrones titled Book of the Stranger, Clarke's character emerges from a burning fire unscathed and unclothed, adding an extra layer of vulnerability to the scene. However, the true discomfort arose when Clarke realized she had forgotten about these revealing moments and had invited her parents to watch the episode with her. The awkwardness of the situation became apparent, emphasizing the challenges actors face when their intimate scenes are shared with a wider audience, including loved ones. Clarke's experience underscores the permanence of on-screen performances in the digital age and the potential for personal moments to become publicized. The enduring presence of these scenes online has led Clarke to reflect on her portrayal in Game of Thrones, highlighting the complexities of balancing artistic expression with personal boundaries in the entertainment industry. Number 4. Channing Tatum and G.I. Joe. Channing Tatum found himself in a predicament with the G.I. Joe film franchise, where he felt constrained by a contract that did not align with his best interests. Despite initially agreeing to a multi-picture deal for G.I. Joe, Tatum soon forgot about the commitment until contractual obligations resurfaced, catching him off guard. When he attempted to extricate himself from the agreement, the threat of a lawsuit from the filmmakers loomed over him, leaving him with little choice but to honor his obligations and star in the film. Despite fulfilling his contractual obligations, Tatum openly voiced his discontent with the G.I. Joe franchise to the media, expressing his true sentiments about the project. His public statements underscored his reluctance towards the films and portrayed his participation as a necessary step towards gaining his freedom from the contractual entanglement. Tatum's candidness about his experience with G.I. Joe highlighted the complexities and challenges that can arise when contractual obligations clash with personal desires in the entertainment industry. Number 3. Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger in Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger, two actors on the rise, found themselves in an awkward situation with the 1994 film Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. As they gained momentum in their careers, they threatened to take legal action against Sony if they were prominently featured in the film's marketing. Understandably, they wanted to distance themselves from a movie that might tarnish their reputations. While this decision may have been wise for the actors, it likely disappointed Sony, which could have capitalized on the star's growing fame to promote the film. The absence of McConaughey and Zellweger's involvement in the marketing campaign likely hurt the film's potential box office success. From shocking regrets to behind-the-scenes drama, these celebrities have shown us that even Hollywood's brightest stars face challenges they'd rather forget. Think any Hollywood regrets are more shocking? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, comment with number 9, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Iconic Inside for more fascinating stories. Thanks for watching.